Ladies and gentlemen, all three judges scored the bout for unanimous decision win for the new ISK Irish champion, Andy Taz Young. Give it up for his opponent, folks, Steve McComb. I'm here with the new ISK Irish champion, Andy Young. Andy, did that fight happen the way you expected?
Pretty much. Do want to apologize for not pushing the case more, but title fight, there's a lot of pressure on me, and I just had to play it safe, I guess. So apologies for that. But Steve's a tough guy. You can't really take too many chances with him.
And how do you prepare for somebody like Steve McComb with such experience?
Just have to train really, really hard, which is what I did pretty much. Very crafty in the ground, the leg locks. Thought he was going to maybe get me one or twice there, but he was able to get out of it.
Very good. And so what's next for you now that you've got that belt around your waist?
Well, hopefully it's opened a lot more doors for me, so I want to just keep going up the ladder and get ultimately just the very top of the sport. So I'm one step closer after tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the new ISK Irish Bantamweight champion, Andy Taz Young.
I've trained very hard for this fight. I reckon I'm in the best shape of my life. I've travelled to Thailand to work on my striking game. I know Joe Kid is very explosive and he's very good at submissions, but to be honest, I'm only ever really vulnerable. I've had in the past vulnerable on chokes, and I've worked around that, so I've no fear being submitted today. So I really took the time on this one to all-round fitness, skill, everything is up as far as it could be. I couldn't have trained harder for this fight. The game plan for this fight is to grind Joe Clark out, bring him past the first round and then turn it up a notch. But you never know, game plans can change during the fight, but the game plan is to wear Joe Joe out. I reckon I've more fitness, my skill is more now, I reckon, and I reckon I can finish the fight. I can break him.
So give us your prediction then, how's it going to end?
It's going to end with my arm raised high, either by submission or TKO in round 2 or 3.
Introducing first, the fighter standing to my right, fighting out of the red corner, representing No Fear MMA in his hometown of Harestown. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighed in at 66 kilos. He has an MMA record of 6 and 5. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Conor Don Deal Now the fighter standing to my left. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, fighting out of the blue corner, and FAI by way of Belfast. He weighed in at 66 kilos, holds an MMA record of 6 and 1. Please welcome Joe Kid Chaos Clark.
Alright guys, just under the rules and dressing room, listen to my instructions all the time. This fight's for the vacant Clan Wars featherweight title. Obey my commands, touch gloves now, back to your corner, come out the fight.
Main event of the evening here at Clan Wars 16. Conor Dundee Dillon in the black trunks, taking on Joe Kid Chaos Clark in the grey trunks. And this is what it's all been working up to, Mark. The crowd have reached fever pitch. And here we go. The Clan Wars featherweight title on the line.
Well, they have been building and building all night, the very vocal fans here at the Ulster Hall, and it is electric right now, the atmosphere around. And this is going to be a tremendous main event.
Yeah.
Two of the most capable fighters in the featherweight division, and they're putting it on the line for the Clan Wars title.
Conor Dillon did nothing to stop the crowd. He raced out, he looked totally pumped, and he couldn't control himself in the cage there. Joe Clark, quite the opposite. A bit more calm, looks a lot more subdued. And yeah, the crowd are so pumped up for this fight. Quite a tentative start from both men. And it's Dillon leading the way with the low kicks. And Clark replies with low kicks of his own. Turns the hip over nicely.
Some big kicks on both sides here. Dylan's footwork seems to have improved markedly. He's moving around that cage, stalking Clark very effectively.
Yeah, and he's looking to throw all those punches with venom. Clark went for a big knee, but it looks like he's going to take a ride for his troubles.
Not the big slam that Dylan was looking for, no doubt, but he got a takedown nonetheless.
Yeah, looks for that axe kick from the top. Going in heavy with punches, and Clark finds his way back to his feet nicely. There's a lot of hype around Joe Clark. 6-1. He's beat some good guys. Definitely a great prospect and a big favourite here in Belfast.
He has. So the one loss on his record was when he was taken to the second round for the first time. And speaking with Dundee earlier.
Oh, a nice elbow there from Clark. Throws it over the top. And Dylan just missed that into the temple.
He certainly did. That whisked right by his face. But Dylan was telling us that his plan is to set a hectic pace as he feels the fittest he's ever been and try and take the younger fighter Joe Clark into that deeper water in the second and third rounds.
Yeah, and he beckoned him on there. Clark went for a low kick and eventually accepted the guard pull.
Another takedown there for Conor Dillon, who seems to be the one setting the pace at the moment.
Yeah, a bit of verbals between the two there, but Joe Clark, great submissions, very good off his back, and he's looking to control the head of Conor Dundee-Dillon. Maybe looking for that sweep, and he hits it. If he can take the mount position, this is a very tough spot for Dillon.
That was a beautiful pancake flip there to take top position. Now Clark is in mount.
Yeah, just Jiu-Jitsu 101, a simple hip bump sweep, but it worked perfectly. And now Joe Clark has the dominant position.
And Dillon actually tried to prevent being turned over by taking both of their weights on one arm. And I've seen people injured in that way before. But luckily for him, he gave up on it in time.
Clark just biding his time and then throws a big elbow over the top. He's not rushing anything, he's doing what he needs to do, maintaining control of the position, and then when the shots are there, he'll take them.
And a shot from the bottom and mount there by Conor. Not something you see every day. But I guess he wants to keep Clark thinking about something other than hitting him.
And Clark is looking to get his arm under the armpit to really set some shots up. He can't get it. Maybe looking for an arm triangle. He keeps trying to isolate the arm on Dillon's right hand side. Dillon not got too much to offer from his back at the moment. He's trying to punch from the bottom instead of trying to escape, which is not always the wisest move.
Not from the mount position, Jay, I'd have to agree. He's trying to move his hips, but just the control is too much on top as Clark winds up, starts throwing punches from the dominant position, and he's able to react quickly then and wrap up those legs when Dillon tries to make an escape.
Yeah, Clark really opened up the taps there, but then did the wise thing. He didn't give up too much space, didn't give up the room, so Dillon could move out of the way. And again, he takes a posture and lets heavy shots off in burst. Now he's on the back, both hooks in. Things don't look good for Conor Dillon.
He's giving up his back, and that might be slipping under the chin. This could be a rear naked choke finish here.
I think the choke is in. It looks very tight from our position, Mark.
Looking very tight, and I think we're going to see a tap. Dillon's fighting it.
There goes the squeeze. And there's the finish. Joe Kid Chaos Clark submits Conor Dillon in the first round.
We have a new Clan Wars champion at 145 pounds, Joe Clark.
What a prospect. He gets back to winning ways, moves on to 7-1 in style. We'll have to keep our eyes on Joe Clark. Going to the cage for the official decision with Mark Leonard.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and new Clan Wars featherweight champion, Joe Kid Chaos Clark. Give it up for his opponent, folks. He'll be back, Conor Dillon. I'm here with the new Clan Wars featherweight champ, Joe Clark. Joe, did that fight work out the way you expected?
Yes. Yes and no, but no yes. I'm always self-critical of myself, but I came into this fight, came over a lot of obstacles, and came in to kick ass, and I did.
Well, you certainly did. What was your game plan coming in?
As simple as win. Any means necessary.
And was there anything that you worked on? Because Conor's known for having a lot of power. Was there anything that you did to counter that?
He's so unorthodox that he makes you make mistakes, he makes you look bad, but I've trained for him. It worked.
It surely did. So what's next for you now you got the belt?
Who wants it? Anybody?
Doesn't seem to be any takers just yet. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the new Clan Wars featherweight champion, Joe Kid Chaos Carr. What a tremendous night it's been here in the Ulster Hall for Clan Wars 16. Behind me, probably one of the most vocal crowds we've ever had are filing out after some of the best matches I think we've seen in quite some time. Our main event produced a new Clan Wars champion in the guise of Joe Kid Chaos Clark. He handled the pressure that was put on him by Conor Dillon quite well, Jay, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, really impressive performance. I mean, Joe made his way to me after the fight and he said, you know, the previous fight, the first loss of his career, he said he was in a bad place, and if this is his good place, he's going to be a hard guy to beat. Really impressive performance. Looked awesome. Dominated the fight. Brutal ground and pound. Finished it with a choke. Textbook.
And Andy Taz Young put an end to Stephen McComb's reign as the Irish ISK Bantamweight champion. And after a 3-round decision, and McComb goes home disappointed, but Andy has a new title to his collection.
Yeah, you'd never guess the experience disparity between the pair. It's something like 40 fights, but in the cage, I mean, Andy Young looked brilliant. Steve McComb had his moments, looked for some submissions, but to be fair, it was Andy Young's night. He takes on the title, and the man worthy of being called Taz.
Absolutely, Young seems to be coming of age right now. One of the upsets that we probably didn't expect coming into this match is Henderson Ferreira defeated Conor the Crook Cook. So a lot of people had a lot of anticipation for Conor Cook starting in Clan Wars. A feared striker by all accounts, but it seemed to fail against the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu of Henderson Pereira.
Well, it started out as we expected. Cook came out, he landed a solid jab, and Ferreira hit the mat. And from there, I weren't sure where it was going to go, but the brilliant Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist snatched onto an arm, and he was not letting that go.
And we were treated to an outstanding performance by Alan the Apprentice Philpott. He really put on a masterclass of MMA in his matchup, and maybe it's time for him to shed the Apprentice nickname.
He's one of the most well-versed fighters in this area now. In Belfast, you can see he took on a tough opponent in Scoogins, but he looked so good. He dominated from the top position. Scoogins did a brilliant job to come out for round 2. I mean, Philpott really put the hurt on him at the end of the first round. But what a performance. I mean, that kid is one to watch, and he's one of the most consistently exciting fighters in the bantamweight division.
Well, this has been Clan Wars 16. I'm Mark Leonard, and this is Jay Furness. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here at Clan Wars.